Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at ThunderWizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at ThunderWizard.com. Get ready, because here I come. Hello, fellow human light beings. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. Welcome back to the channel. So this is Solar Flash update for November 25th, 2023. And I'm here to tell you some new rules about manifestation. We're going to look at the difference between 3D versus 5D. And I'm here to tell you that 3D manifestation has now ended. And what is the difference between 3D versus 5D manifestation? Humans now have been upgraded and must manifest new worlds, which means you have an opportunity to function not as a human being, but as a deity, as a god or a goddess. So one of the very interesting things that's happening right now that I don't think has happened in the history of human beings on this planet is that human beings are given the opportunity now to do the kinds of things that souls can do only after they die. So after you die in the third dimension and you ascend to your place as a soul, which all souls do, then you get to do things on multiple dimensional levels, and you help create worlds, and you help other beings, human beings for instance, as they go through things. You help plan out how things are going to manifest in the universe. Anyway, you have all of this power when you die. So if you accept that, you have to reject the majority of understandings that have to do with reincarnation. Even in religions that I personally admire, study, and respect, like the Vedic Hindu religion. But even Vedic Hinduism has, over the many, probably hundreds or thousands of years, has turned into sometimes a victim mentality, where when you talk to a lot of Hindus, they talk about, escaping reincarnation. Buddhists, the same thing, escaping reincarnation. And there is a belief that, after you die, you get pulled back, against your will. You get pulled back into 3D because of your karmas. And so what's happened is that a truth about all of these things has been viewed through a three-dimensional lens over hundreds or thousands of years, and then people project their 3D victim mentality onto it. So it's time to let go of all of that and look at the truth behind what these teachings really are. And in terms of reincarnation, this is something that almost every religion understands. It's only been since the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam were hoist upon the world, that people have forgotten this understanding that we are infinite souls that reincarnate. Now, the truth is, you choose to come here. And you choose to come here because there is something very powerful for you to gain. So I want you to get rid of the ideas. I know it feels like you've been forced here, that you're trapped here. That is part of the 3D game that you came here to overcome. So what you've chosen to do is to come here so that you can learn how to become a more powerful deity, how to manifest better, more powerfully. And more importantly, how to take greater joy in your existence. So you don't have to believe me right now, you may not have that experience. That's totally okay. But if you're able to allow this assumption to just become part of your thought process, you will be far, far, far more successful in manifesting even in your 3D existence. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to talk about the difference between 3D versus 5D. And even at the very least, you'll learn how to become a more powerful 3D manifester. Before I go into that, please, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, thumbs up, all those other things, so that the YouTube algorithm will notice these videos. The truth is, I've come to the acceptance that the things that we discuss on this channel are far, far more advanced and more powerful and deeper than most humans are ready for. Most humans are not ready to hear what we have to say. So if you're on this channel, and if you're resonating with it, and more importantly, if you're taking the actions on the practices that I teach, then that's an indication that you are among the first humans who are going to shift up. You will be the teachers, the leaders, the guides in the new 5D world. Otherwise, you wouldn't be attracted to the stuff that I'm teaching. So I want to give you an opportunity. I don't care how low your life is or how unsuccessful you are or unlucky or whatever. That doesn't mean anything. In the whole grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. A lot of times what happens is that extremely powerful beings, I mean, we're talking at the level of like Shiva and Kali and, Odin and Thor. We're talking about beings at that level of existence. They sometimes will choose to incarnate in human form in the most least successful, least influential lives. And they do that because the added pressure upon them of overcoming the obstacles to learn how to successfully be in the third dimension and be happy, that the task of overcoming those seemingly insurmountable obstacles is because when the fifth dimension comes, they're going to be at the first of the line to lead in the new 5D. So if you're watching this, you might be a leader. You might have been either chosen because of the work that you've done, or you might have made this decision before you came here. And so that's why you're not interested in 3D ridiculous nonsense things like fame, power, money. Those things are the least beneficial things. I mean, just take a look at the politicians. I mean, does anybody here really think that Joe Biden in 5D is going to be leading anything? Do you think he's going to be? I mean, take a look at any of the celebrities. Look what happens to celebrities as they get older. They end up becoming pathetic jokes of themselves. I don't mean that as a personal attack, but I could name a few celebrities and musical artists that are now my age or older, and they're just, it's sad how what a lack of they're not aging with grace or integrity. They're still trying to recapture being 20 or 30 years old and a sex symbol, and it's sad and ridiculous. That is not the sign of somebody who has come to understand their true essence. No, I got nothing against celebrities in general. There's plenty of celebrities that have this possibility as well, but you get my point. It's not about how much you gain in this three-dimensional life that's going to determine whether or not you are going to be a leader in this new 5D world that's coming. So I'm giving you permission to forget what you think you know about yourself, to accept that you're just an avatar and you're here to gather information and to learn and to grow. So you are here now to learn and awaken to your 5D presence. I love the idea of star seeds, even though that idea has been hijacked by people with victim mentalities, and really it's an excuse for severely codependent people to feel sorry for themselves. But the idea of star seeds, higher dimensional, extremely powerful beings choosing to come to Earth and incarnate at this time so that they can be instrumental in creating the new 5D world. I absolutely believe that. I would say I am one of those. If you're watching this channel and you're getting anything and you hear it and you understand it, it means that you are one of those as well. So I'm going to, one of the reasons I challenge people in their blocks, in their codependence, in their victim mentality, is because I know that that's not who you are. I know that that is just an avatar you've chosen to take on in this three-dimensional virtual reality video game. I know that about you, even if you don't know that yet. And if you want to know that about yourself, if you want to have that experience and have that confidence that you really are a divine deity here to create an entire universe, then I'm here to give you specific guidance and instruction and very specific actions and tools that you can use, that if you follow my directions, I guarantee you this awakening will come for you. But you have to do the work. I can't do it for you. All right, so So 3D versus 5D manifestation. By the way, before I go any further, please take advantage of all of the tools. Go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. That is the most powerful energy meditation practice in existence. The only thing that's more powerful than that is the Mao Shan 5-element moving forms, which you can find at 923.thunderwizard.com. You can find that there at a tremendous discount. All of my video teachings have been, I'm throwing them at you basically for free. And it's well worth it if you invest in that. And my books, michaelwilliamdenny.com, which you can find all of my books, including Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth, Interdimensional Revolution, and The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. And I put up here something that, an idea I came up with a while ago, which I still think is a great idea. I just haven't been promoting it. askmike.thunderwizard.com. Go there and check that out. That's if you have a question for me and you want me to make a video and talk about it, you can submit your question. Go to askmike.thunderwizard.com to learn how to do that. You can get a private video answer to your question. You can have me answer a question in video and upload it. And if you want, you can actually even we can upload a video of you and I talking together about your question, and I will answer that and we'll upload it. But you've got to follow the protocols for that. So go to askmike.thunderwizard.com to find out about that. All right, let's now start talking about this. So I'm keeping myself on track because, as you know, I go off on tangents. So first we're going to take a look at 3D manifestation rules. So before we understand 5D manifestation and what has changed and how humans awakening to their deity essence, how that's changing manifestation in even now in this solar flash event that we're experiencing, we first have to understand how you successfully manifest in 3D, because you need to understand that first, because we're expanding on that. So let's take a look at the rules for 3D manifestation. These are the old rules for 3D manifestation, which still work, by the way. Number one, you accept that your soul chose to incarnate in 3D Earth. I already talked about that. It's not just that your soul chose, listen, I say this, I've been saying this for years. And, people get angry when I tell them this. Strange, isn't that strange? People feel like they're victims. They feel like they've been forced to come here. They've been forced to come here either because, bad karma or evil beings want to force you here so they can feed off of your energy. But when I tell you, no, actually, not only weren't you forced to come here, you chose to come here, which means you can choose to leave, you can choose to do whatever you want. People don't hear that. People get angry with me when I say, you chose to come here. And they say, why would I choose to come to this horrible place? What about those horrible babies born in third world countries? Why did you think they chose? Why did they choose to have that? And I say, I don't know. I'm not them. Ask them why they chose to come here. That's their job to figure that out. That's not my job. My job is to figure out why I came here. Part of the reason I came here was to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now this very second. So you chose to come here. This won't work if you don't accept that. But the good news is, if you chose to come here, if you had that much power to choose to come here, it means you have all kinds of power to change everything. Literally everything. Did I say everything? Literally everything. You have the power to do that. So this is a good thing. You chose to incarnate in 3D Earth. The second thing about the old 3D rules for manifestation is you must accept that your one job in the third dimension is to manifest the joy of your soul. This is my book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. If you master what's in that book, I guarantee you'll ascend. But we're going to be building on that. So those of you who have read that book and you do know what that is, and you have been you've either accomplished that, become aware of it, or you're working towards becoming aware of what your soul desire is. We're going to go even further with that, because now we're in a whole new world, as I said, where, we're not, if we don't die, those of us who make the shift to 5D, if we don't physically die, it means we get to have all of the benefits that come to people who have near-death experiences and come back. This is a first thing. This has never happened in the history of the human race. What we are experiencing has never happened before, and it is absolutely, unbelievably powerful and magnificent if you're willing to accept that. So you must accept that your one job in the third dimension is to manifest the joy of your soul. If you don't know how to do that, and many people don't, by the way, even though everybody can do it, many people get confused. It's very easy to do that. And this is why I created I'll just put it down here, career.thunderwizard.com. There's the link in the chat, career.thunderwizard.com. If you want to find out exactly what your soul desire is, I can do that. I can help you do that. Actually, you're the one that figures it out, but I know exactly what to do to help you become consciously aware of what it is you're supposed to do. So it's very imperative that you figure that out, and I can help you with that. So go to career.thunderwizard.com. You can get the career package where you can learn how to do what I do, be a guide, a mentor to people, and teach them the specific things that I do. You can certify yourself in that. Or if you want to just talk to me directly, you scroll to the bottom of the page and you purchase a one-time consultation fee with me. By the way, if you want to talk to me one time for any reason, you can go there, career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom and get it, and purchase a session. Again, I'm amazed at the amount of people. You'd be amazed at the amount of people who contact me, who say, I want to talk to you. I want some help with something, and I give them that link, and I say, great. Go to career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom, purchase a session. I guarantee you I can help you with this. You know how many people actually follow through? I mean, it's in like the low, 2 to 3 percentile range. So people, again, it's, one of my problems. This is one of my problems I'm overcoming in this life. I have never understood people who complain and don't take action on it. If I complain about something, it means that I'm looking for a solution. And if you give me the solution, no matter how difficult it is, I will follow through, because the last thing I want is to continue to be unhappy. So the only conclusion I can come to is people who complain about things but don't do anything about it, they must prefer to be unhappy. Now that doesn't make any sense to me. And I just have to assume that there's a lot of people who are choosing to be miserable. And as sad as it is, unfortunately, those people who choose to be miserable are going to be the people who shift down into the lower 3D that is being created. Just as the 5D world is being created, the lower 3D, lesser hell world is being created. And people who complain and don't take the actions, especially when the opportunities are given to them, those people are going to end up down there. And they'll be complaining. They'll be talking about 5D. There's going to be no shortage of New Age people talking about escaping the Matrix and going to 5D, and they'll still be in the lower 3D. So I'm here to help you with that. So you can go and get that session with me if you want. career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom and get a session with me. Also, being an apprentice, you can work with me minimum once a month, and you can do that. You can find that here at thunderwizard.com, the website, and you can scroll around and subscribe to whatever apprenticeship option works for you. Again, it's hard for me to have compassion for people who complain, who are confused, and aren't willing to take action to change it. All right, so you must accept that your one job in 3D is to manifest the joy of your soul. Number 3, determine exactly what your soul desire is. This is very important. If you don't know what your soul desire is, you can't take action to achieve it. So it's normal for many people to be confused. And the reason why is because you're either doing one of two things. Generally speaking, in this world, doesn't matter who you are, you're doing one of two things. You are either expanding into the desire of your soul, and you are either achieving that or working towards achieving that, and you know exactly what that is. Or you are achieving the desire of your unconscious resistant mind, which wants to be loved and approved of by the world and other people. So you have two choices. You can either get your own satisfaction and fulfillment from taking the actions to live towards your soul, or you can live and take actions to be approved of by other people. An easy way to take a look at this, I've been talking with a lot of people about this, this is more true than ever before. If your focus in life is to have a job that pays you good money, sounds good, doesn't it? You are placating other people's acceptance. You are living not for your soul, you're living for other people. You want to be a rich doctor, you want to be work on Wall Street, you want to be a billionaire tycoon. These people's entire life is about getting the approval of the world. And it makes sense. I spent a lot of my time trying to do that. It wasn't until I was in my 50s that I actually found my career. And that was because I was done. I literally said, I'm going to die homeless before I live the rest of my life working some stupid job. And I said, I'm only going to do what I want, and that's it. I don't care about, I refuse to deal with it. I didn't realize that I was saying that I'm going to live my soul. And that's when I found out that, when you do that, you get everything. So it's important to understand and know precisely what your soul desire is. And if you don't know, it's very normal and very human. It's a very human thing This is what the book is about, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. And this is what I'm here to do. Again, if you want my help, go to career.thunderwizard.com or become an apprentice at thunderwizard.com, and I can help you with that. So number 4, you commit to fulfill your soul desire in 3D or die trying. I know that sounds hard, but here's the reality of it. If you don't live your soul desire, you will be slowly walking towards death. Every single emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual dysfunction, including disease, is very simply the result of the conflict inside of you as you're trying to get other people's love and approval. There's only 2 worlds we can live in. And the great thing is now this whole 5D reality is just bringing to our consciousness what has always been the case, which is you either live in your greatest soul fantasy and you fulfill it, or you live to be accepted and loved by the world. Now, if you are living towards your soul, you will be happy. Your soul will be in control of your physical body, which means that your physical body will be able to absorb all of the energies that it needs, the chi energy, the life force energy. You will be able to absorb the Kundalini energy, 5D consciousness. You will be able to awaken the electric energy of the heart center. And all of the cells in your body will vibrate, and all of the organs and all of the DNA will operate optimally the way they're supposed to, which means you'll be free of physical illness. You will be free of stress. You will be free of emotional pain. You will be free. You won't be free of challenges. Life will have its ups and downs, but you will be free of all of the conflict that creates all dis-ease. And it's very simple. You just follow your soul. That's it. You don't do that, if you're unhappy, if you're watching this video right now and you're unhappy on any of those levels, I know exactly what's going on. I don't know the specifics, but I know what's going on. You're trying to get your value from the wrong place. You're trying to be accepted by the world. And it's never going to work. The good news is that 5D is coming, which means those world, all of the ways in which we try and get acceptance from the world, money, status, power, celebrity, all of those things are going away. So the good news is all of that stuff is going to stop working anyway, which is why many more people are waking up to realize how unsatisfying their life is and how unsatisfying the world is. And this is evidenced by, how many people really pay attention to mainstream media. How many people believe MSNBC, the news? How many people care? How many people listen to any of that stuff anymore? I mean, it's getting fewer and fewer. There's almost nobody that pays any attention to that. All right, so let's see, where was I? So you commit to fulfill your soul desire in 3D or die trying. That's I'm just trying to make it clear that you have to completely commit. Committing to achieving it doesn't mean that you feel it. Okay, we'll talk about that. I'm sure I listed something about that. Number 5, accept that unpleasant emotions arise as you manifest your soul desire. So one of the ways you know you are moving towards your soul desire is as you've taken action or become aware. If you have crippling fear, anxiety, anger, even if you have, physical symptoms, you get sick or something like that, these are signs that you are actually accomplishing what you want. And so as I tell people, many times people ask, how do I get over my fear? How do I get over my anger? How do I get over my self-deprecation, my insecurity? Whenever they ask me, how do I get over fill in the blank, I always say, when did I ever tell you you were supposed to get over that? You're supposed to take action on what you know your soul wants, regardless of any emotions or any physical symptoms or any life circumstances. That's why the previous one, I say, you commit to fulfill your soul desire or die trying. That is a real thing. You have to be willing to do that. Now, not everybody has to take it to the extreme that I did, but you have to be willing to do whatever the hell it takes. And you won't be willing to do whatever the hell it takes if you don't accept the assumption that this is your job, that the universe must treat you like a god. In fact, if we assume that you are a deity, a god who has chosen to come into physical reality in order to empower yourself even more than you already are, if you accept that assumption, then you accept that all of creation, which is your creation, is here to serve you. Which means that if you are operating from your deity self, the universe must give you everything. I talk about this in the Manifestation Mastery course, which you'll have access to at thunderwizard.com. When you subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, you'll also have access to the Manifestation Mastery course. And I talk about that is easily the most powerful and liberating understanding, that every molecule of this physical reality, not just this one, but every dimensional reality, every molecule of physical reality is completely, totally devoted to serving you like you are God. Which means when God said, "Let there be light," there was light. When you say, "I'm going to accomplish this," and you are committed to achieving that, every molecule of the universe has to make sure that you are able to do that. So that means that every single resource will come to you. Every single resource you need will come to you. But the universe and you, when you came here, you made a deal with this universe you created, and you said, "Listen, universe, if I'm not operating from my deity understanding, meaning if I'm not taking action towards living this deity reality, then don't listen to me complain. Don't give me anything. You did that on purpose." So when people talk about this is an empty universe and everybody's against me and the universe is against me, all that's happening is that the universe is like sitting here with $1 billion going, I got all this money for you, but you told me that I can't give any of it to you until you do, you said you were going to become a ballerina. That was your soul desire. And until you go and start learning how to dance, learning how to dance ballet, I can't give you any of this. You told me to do that. So you have to start with that assumption and realize that the universe must respond to you, but your actions have to coincide with your commands. So you accept that unpleasant emotions arise as you manifest your soul desire. Number 6, you take direct action toward achieving your soul desire every day. I make lists. Now, I'm feeling good right now in my life, so I don't need to do that. I wake up and I'm excited about the things I'm going to do to create my reality. I'm excited about surfing. I'm excited about creating videos. I'm excited about 5D. I'm excited about meditating in the higher dimensions and creating reality. But that's not the case for me. Sometimes I'm in that resistance phase where I feel like putting a gun to my head. There are days I just don't want to get out of bed, and it's the days that I'm taking action towards my soul. So I've come to learn that if I know what my soul desire is and I'm taking action towards it, and I wake up one day and I feel horrible, and I just want to crawl in a hole and die, I've come to train myself to go, oh, I must be accomplishing something. So I have to keep going. So what I do is, because I know I'm not feeling motivated or inspired, I just will write a list. Sometimes just a, three, call so-and-so, make the, make a thumbnail with all of the lists on it. Number 2, number 3, go walk on the beach and go swimming in the ocean. I mean, it might be that small, and I just write myself a list, and I just do the things on the list, even if one of them frightens the hell out of me, like in the list I just gave you. Make the video about transcending to 5D. That might be so frightening to me that I don't want to do that, but I make sure I put that in there. And then I do something positive for myself. I'll go swimming in the ocean, something like that. And I just might have 3 things to do that day. So you have to take action. If you don't take physical action, the universe, again, doesn't believe you. The universe doesn't believe you because you have a feeling. The universe believes you when you're prepared to take action on that feeling. So, number 7, understand that the end goal is to leave 3D Earth with no regrets. This is a guarantee. It is guaranteed that if you come to this Earth and you do not fulfill your soul desire, it is guaranteed that when you're ready to leave, you will have regrets. For me, I mean, it's real simple. I don't want to be on my deathbed going, I wish I had surfed more. I wish I had done everything I could to, just to give you an idea, I'm 60 years old now. It's not like it was when I was 30. When I was 30, I was, riding the smallest, most, high performance boards. I was able to go out and surf in, double overhead size waves, paddling through and and getting, almost drowned. I was able to pull that off. I had the physical stamina to do that. In fact, I remember feeling at one point like, it doesn't matter how big the waves are, I can survive however big the waves are. I don't have that experience now. I don't nearly have the lung capacity that I had. I'm a lot heavier. I've been lifting a lot of weights and all that, but it also makes it more challenging for me to get to my feet fast enough. Paddling through big waves is hard. It's hard work. I have to really commit to stay at a level of surfing ability where I'm able to surf like I used to. And I have to be willing to compromise and really put the effort into finding the exact right equipment and finding the right people who know how to make equipment for people like me. And all that takes a lot of effort and commitment. So when I talk about, surfing, there's a lot of commitment that goes into that. It's not like it was when I was 30, even 40 years old. So I don't want to spend the rest of my life being upset that I'm not able to live my dream. I don't want to be on my deathbed, if that's ever going to happen, and look back and go, I wish I had done more. I wish I had fulfilled that desire. So if you don't live your soul desire, it's a guarantee you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to look back at all the things you didn't accomplish, and guess what? You will choose to reincarnate. You won't realize that when you come back into this body and you become an adult again, unless we're in 5D, you're probably not going to remember why you incarnated, and you'll go through that same challenge of, do I want to please the world by being wealthy and famous, or do I want to be happy? Which one of those things do I want to do? So understand that the end goal of 3D is to leave this earth with no regrets. It will be well worth it. So that's 3D manifestation. You must understand that. You must assume you chose to come here. You have only one thing to do here, which is to fulfill your deepest soul desire. And if you don't do that, you're going to be miserable. In fact, you might even make yourself deathly ill. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. People die of diseases all the time, and the reason for it is they're not living for their soul. Period. End of story. Let's go to now, what is it going to be like to manifest in 5D? 5D rules for manifestation. So we start with the same assumptions for 3D. Which is, boil it down to, your only job is to fulfill your deepest joys of your soul. If you don't know what that is, you've got to figure that out. And if you can't do it on your own, you need somebody like me to help you. So we start with the same assumptions that we just went through. Number 2, you assume your job is to create new world. All right, so your old job in 3D was to completely manifest your 3D reality that will bring you everything you need to have all of your desires manifested. Now we're going to shift that up. Your new job is to create an entirely new 3-dimensional universe. Did you catch that? Should I repeat myself? Your job now is to not just manifest within a 3-dimensional reality, which is what it was before. Manifest impossible things so you can be happy within the 3rd dimension. Your new job is to create an entire universe from scratch. So it's a lot different. 3D, we accept 3D is already here. It's sort of this program that's running, which isn't really true. But we accept that it's a program that's running and we're manipulating the energy within that 3rd dimensional reality so we can have our perfect life. But we're still within a system, a 3D functioning system. Now you are in a blank slate. And you've been given the role as the supreme creator of this new universe. So now you do the same thing you did before, where you listen to your soul, but instead of asking your soul, what do I want in this 3D world? You go, what do I want to do? I'm a deity creating my own universe with planets and worlds, and what are the rules of this? What can you do? What can't you do? For instance, in my 5D world, people who are unconsciously destructive are not going to get in. Not because they'll be rejected. I'm not going to, go, okay, I accept you, I reject you. It's not going to be like St. Peter in heaven going, oh, you get to go to heaven, you get to go to hell. It's not going to be like that. I'm just going to create a reality where the frequency is the frequency where the only thing that can manifest within that frequency comes from a place of self-love and love of all other conscious beings. So that means nobody's going to get in who has victim mentality, who acts out against themselves, who harms themselves, and by extension is harmful to others. Because every single harmful person, every single harmful act that's done, people need to grow up about this whole narcissism thing. People need to understand that narcissists, first and foremost, hate themselves. And so all of their actions are reflections of their own self-hatred. So the way to cure a narcissist is not to throw them into hell and make them feel guilty, which a lot of people, some of you listening to me, you want to do that. You want to make the people who have hurt you, you want to make them feel guilty. You want to punish them. You want to make them pay. You think somehow that's going to wake them up to something. It won't. It will drive them deeper into their self-hatred, and it will make them even more destructive. When has it worked? I mean, how many people, how many murderers and killers and thieves, how many of them end up getting thrown into the worst prisons and come out of those prisons better off than when they got there? Only the ones that have the strength to wake up and go, holy crap, I'm going to change. But most people don't. They end up hating themselves more, and they come out worse and more educated in how to cause harm to people. So you must first learn to love yourself. And the fastest way to do that is by doing the interdimensional meditation, or the CE5. Because the one thing that these higher dimensional beings, what they want to do more than anything, is to help you feel how loved you are. And then their hope is that you will then learn to love yourself the way that you are already seen and loved by the universe. All right, so assume your job is to create a new world. Number 3, you ask light beings to guide your fantasies, which is just what I said. So you do the interdimensional meditations, you do what, there's 2 kinds, as I said. There's the quantum field meditation, and I put this up usually at the end of videos, where you learn how to create whatever 3D reality you want, including healing yourself of all diseases, having all of the resources, the relationships that you want. That is something that you can do. So you go to the quantum field and you create that, watch that video, or do that meditation. And then there's another one which I offer, which is slightly different, which is quantum field meditation to create 5D Earth. So when you do that, you are tapping into higher dimensional forces. So I don't care what interdimensional meditation you do. There are ones on the 90-day challenge where you go to other planets and you work with planetary energies. It doesn't matter. When you do the protocol, you leave your body, you go outside of Earth's atmosphere, even if you're just imagining it. You don't think you're doing it, you just imagine it. The moment that you ask for higher dimensional guidance, I guarantee you are heard. There are beings that will come to help you. Now, everybody's going to have a different experience. Sometimes the experiences will be great. Right now, we're just about heading into a strong solar storm. If that's true, you'll find that your interdimensional meditations are going to go through the roof. When there's not a lot of solar energy hitting the Earth because the electromagnetic field is strong, it seems to be more difficult to get those interdimensional experiences. But either way, when you go to 5D and you're manifesting your new reality, you ask light beings to guide your fantasies. So when you're in the quantum field, if the energy is hitting you and you're creating and manifesting and fantasizing, and you don't have a problem seeing all kinds of wonderful things in your world, there are flying unicorns that poop out Skittles. If that's your thing and you're seeing that and experiencing it, great. You don't need to worry about it. But if you get there and you're not sure, you want to go beyond, really push the boundaries, then you got to ask higher dimensional beings for their help, and they will give you the power and the ability to you'll be amazed at some of the things that you'll start to fantasize about, that you'll when you come back in your body, you'll go, is that even possible? Flying unicorns that poop out Skittles? So number 4, you create your perfect avatar body. I like this, I do this, and I think this is helpful. So in 5D, what are you? What do you look like? What is your body like? Do you like being a human? Do you want to perfect your human body? Do you want to be 20 years younger? Do you want to be more physically fit? What is it that you want? You get to go and create your body. In fact, you're doing it now, you just don't realize it. Everything in your body, you create all of the cells in your body. It reflects, your internal experience of yourself. So create your 5D avatar. And there's a lot of different beings in this universe. There's a lot of different conscious beings. And I don't know, I'm not putting any limitations. So if you want to be a cat person, or you want to be a moth or a butterfly, or you want to be a horse with a human's head, or I don't know. There's all different kinds of beings out there. I've run into so many different species of conscious beings. It's quite mind-boggling. Like, I know for a fact that there are mantis beings that's their physical form. I know that there are cat beings that, imagine, your cat and just sort of turn him into a 6 foot tall human walking around on 2 paws and being able to have thumbs and fingers, but everything else about them is a cat. Those beings exist. So create whatever avatar you want. Just let your imagination take you wherever it wants to go. Create your funnest, happiest universe. So that's fairly obvious. That means, again, I keep making that example of a flying unicorn pooping out Skittles. Whatever it is for you, go beyond the limitations of what you think reality should be. This is your reality that you get to create. So imagine and fantasize absolutely anything and everything. The only thing that matters is that it makes you happy. That's it. If it interests you and makes you happy, go and create it. Alter any present 3D details. So don't feel like you have to, schlep around in your 3D body, as you come back, as you're waiting for all this new stuff to happen. Don't think that you have to be in a schleppy, unhappy body, because the truth of the matter is, just by going into the quantum field and just by working with higher dimensional beings and just fantasizing and creating your perfect world, that is going to change everything. Your body's going to change, your health is going to change. It's already going to have that effect, but make the decision to change your 3D body as well. If you want to, I still, while I'm here in 3D, I want to surf. I want to have the best surfing experience I can. So I spend a lot of time thinking about, the kinds of equipment I have, which is an interesting thing has happened, is that I couldn't find the right equipment for me at my stage in my life. I had to either buy larger boards that weren't very maneuverable, or if I got boards that were maneuverable, they just weren't big enough to float me and get me into waves. And then seemingly out of nowhere, this new surfboard technology appeared out of nowhere. I took advantage of it, and then now it's going to disappear. It's not going to be available here in Australia anymore. It's as if, I manifested literally the most perfect equipment. It's the best equipment I've ever had. I'm going to have better surfing ability on this new equipment than I did, stuff I had 30 years ago. So don't be surprised when little details start to change. And it's important to understand this so that you can accept that your manifestations are taking root. Remember that experiment is light, a particle, or a wave. It's one of the most important experiments in quantum physics there is, and it's very important that you know that. The original experiment was just to find out if light was a particle or a wave. And the result of that experiment was that light manifested in accordance with the expectations of the observer, which completely, took scientists, this was, I think, 40, 50 years ago or something. It was a long time ago. Physicists weren't talking about, spiritual concepts like they are now. Now physicists are starting to talk about, how reality is our perception and that we are creating it. Just now starting to, in the scientific realm, start to understand that. But when they came back from this experiment, they were like, so the only conclusion is that light is manifesting based on what we tell it to do. If they set up the experiment to measure light as a particle, it would manifest as a particle. If they set it up as a wave, it turned into a wave. Now they've got all these other things to like make sure that it really is based on what you intend. So you decide light's going to be a wave, it becomes a wave. But not only that, and why that's important, light manifesting as a wave is, the molecules of my phone manifesting as a phone. It's that fundamental. It means that the molecules, the atoms of physical reality are there because that's how they're supposed to be. It's hard to imagine, but that's true. But in the most recent discovery experiments, they found out not only did light create itself based on, okay, it looks like I'm having problems. It says I have no data, so give me a second here. All right, now I'm back. So the most important part of the experiment was that people came to realize that light was actually going backwards in time and recreating itself based on your intention. In other words, you flip the switch so that the light hits the back of the paper or whatever it is, and light does its thing, and then as it's hitting, going to the end of the thing and hitting the paper or whatever it is to manifest, it checks you out to see what you wanted it to do. It goes, oh, he wanted me to be a particle. It rewound time, went back in time, changed itself around, and then manifested as a particle, so that when you looked at it, you would see that it was a particle this whole time. In other words, it would make sense. So it's not going to be like a magician. I mean, it might be, but more often than not, when you manifest something, like for me, I'm imagining the perfect surfing equipment, and then I find out there's this guy who's, one of my icons, been around he's dead now, but he was, started shaping in the 1960s. And he created surfboards for him. He had the same body type I do, and he created these high performance surfboards for people, just like me. And that stuff really wasn't available. But turns out that's been there this whole time, but it manifested out of nowhere for me. But assuming that I brought that into existence, it means that I influenced this guy all the way back in time to research and create the perfect surfboards that I'm going to need here in 2023. So you don't know if your visualizations and meditations in quantum 5D, you don't know if that's actually going to go back in time and recreate reality, so that when you come back in your body, it will have always been like that. So it's not going to look like it just came out of nowhere. Sometimes it's going to be something that's always been here, but you didn't realize that you just created that 10 seconds ago in your meditation. And because you were in the quantum field, you actually went back in time and had that manifest. So give yourself the opportunity to do that. I can't tell you how many times reality has literally changed after I've meditated. But when you look at it, I go, oh my God, I just created this. And then you look at it, you find out, no, that's always been there. Really? Was it? I know for a fact that can happen, because in June of 2022, when I was interacting with a very powerful being who was showing me things and telling me things, they were showing me what my role was and how reality worked. And I realized that I kind of went into this state where I saw that what that being was saying to me was simultaneously being told to my 7-year-old self, my 18-year-old self, and my 58-year-old self. That being said one message, and it went into 3 different points in time in this timeline. So then when I came back, I was like, so did that message I just received actually go back in time and create a memory that I have of being 7 years old? Or has that always been there? These are the kinds of strange things that you have to think about. But if you give yourself the right to believe absolutely anything, then allow yourself to go create, what you want in this right now moment, and allow yourself to go back in time and create that. Go into the future and create it. I hope I explained that right. So alter any present 3D details. When you get back into 3D, live as though your new 5D world already exists. Now, I can't imagine how to live in 3D imagining a flying unicorn pooping out Skittles. But that's not my thing. As much as I like unicorns and Skittles, I don't want that experience. But they're, surfboard stuff, the stuff that I do like. If I go into 5D and I imagine how I'm going to live, if I imagine having resources for certain things, I just come back and I act as though that's what this is. If I start thinking about my 5D world and how I'm going to create the new world, as I said, in the new 5D world I'm creating, the frequency is going to be at a level where only people who have the awareness to have self-love and connect to others and who are ready to vibrate at that level, only those people are going to make it in. So I'm going to walk around my 3D world as though that's who's in my reality. And I'm going to act as though I have that ability. So one of the things that I do when I'm out in the world, just normal 3D stuff, I will, when I see somebody walk by, I will start to imagine their soul. Imagine them as a light beam. Especially if my first reaction is to have some kind of judgment about them. As soon as I see somebody and if I become aware that I have a judgment about them that limits them, when I remember, I go into saying to myself, now what does that person look like on a soul level? What is their light being self? Where are they going to be? How are they going to, and I start to see them as a more perfect being. And so that's just me living in the 3D as though I'm already in 5D. Because when I get in 5D, that's how I'm going to interface with people. I'm going to see them as light beings. I'm not going to see them as, limited human beings walking around. All right. Number 8, take note of any changes in 3D. I've already talked about that. So just don't be surprised to see things change. Things are going to change. You're going to feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you're going to realize, you're going to look back and you're going to realize this isn't the same world I was in yesterday. This isn't the same world I was in a year ago. Things are different. Be open to that. Allow that to happen. So very quickly, 5D, start with the same assumptions for 3D, meaning that your job is to come here and fulfill your deepest soul desires. Assume that your job now in 5D is to create an entirely new universe. Number 3, ask light beings to guide your fantasies, expand your ability to see beyond your limitations. 4, create your perfect avatar body, whatever that is for you. 5, create the funnest, happiest universe you can possibly imagine. Don't give up. Don't sell yourself short. Always ask yourself, is there something that I want that's even better than this? I do this all the time in my 3D life. All the time I ask myself, what else do I want? What else do I want? I'm happy to be content with what I have. I don't need to find things wrong. But if I become aware that there's something else that I want, because as we expand, sometimes it's just you got to expand just to be able to function. I was happy, back in 2018, just to manifest what would now be a really crappy apartment on the beach in Manhattan Beach. I was happy that I was able to accomplish that. But then I say, what more do I want? What would I do to improve what I have? What details would I change? So give yourself the opportunity to do that. When in 3D, live as though the new 5D world already exists. Number 8, take note of any changes in 3D. I've shared the story before, when I was in Manhattan Beach and I was walking around and I couldn't afford anything more than, $800 or $900 a month. And I was looking at where I wanted to live, which was far more than that. I just decided that that's where I was going to live, even though I couldn't afford it. And I went and applied for it, and I got it, and then everything changed, and magically I had the money to afford it. So don't let anything stop you. Live in your 3D world as though 5D already exists, and all those possibilities are already here for you. Okay, that's it for me for all of that today. I'm happy to take a look if there are any questions or comments or what have you. Oh, and let me just repeat myself again. So if you're having difficulty with any of this stuff, that's part of being human. Again, probably the most difficult thing, and I think it's the only thing that people really do in this world, is they decide to act towards their soul desire, or they act to be accepted. They compromise and try and be accepted, or they operate on their soul desire. If you don't know what your soul desire is, that means that you're in conflict. You've got some confusion and some conflict, and I can help you with that. So go to career.thunderwizard.com, scroll to the bottom and get a session from me. Or you can buy that video package, and you can learn how to teach others how to do the same thing that I do. And if you have a question and you want me to make a video on your question, you can go to askmike.thunderwizard.com and follow the instructions there. And I'm happy to upload a video answering your question, or send you a private video answering your question. The point is I'm making an attempt to reach out and remind people that this channel isn't about sitting here watching me talk. Listen, I've interacted with a lot of people, and I've interacted with people who are students of mine, apprentices of mine, and I've interacted with people who have been watching the channel for years, but you don't follow through. Some of you even become, a 90-day warriors, or you become, you get one of the other video packages, and then I find out that you stop yourself. You don't have the ability to follow through, or you do have the ability. You haven't chosen to follow through, and you're still stuck in a lot of those same patterns. Those things won't change unless you're able to take the action. If you don't feel that you have the ability to take the actions, then you need help. So there's no shame in asking for somebody to help you. There's a reason why there's always been gurus, and there's always been teachers, and there's always been mentors and coaches, and it's part of how we function. So please don't allow yourself to get stuck in your little hamster wheel. And there's no shame in asking. And don't be afraid to invest in it. What it costs to subscribe to the 90-day challenge is nothing. I know many of you, if not most of you, spend more money on things that, like video games and bags of weed and movies and I don't know what else. Your phone, some app on your phone. I know that you spend more money on the stuff that you don't need. So it's very hard for me to have compassion for somebody who says, I can't afford it. Some people can. Some people are 10 years old and they live with their parents. Some people are disabled and they literally can't get the income to do it. But even then, I can help those people to go beyond where they are. And there are people who are my apprentices who, they technically can't afford it, but they do it anyway and their lives improve. So put effort into it. Invest in yourself. I just feel very strongly that, especially now, if you've been doing it by yourself, you've been isolating, it's time to reach out and ask for help. It's time to start working with somebody. I have a teacher, I have a group that I go to. I am not telling you to do anything I don't do, okay? And I've made it easier to askmike.thunderwizard.com. That's designed to make it easier for you to get my help. All right? So take advantage of that stuff while we're still here. All right, so let's see. Thundra says hello. Hi, Thundra. You're welcome. Somebody's thanking me for being on here. Okay, nothing else. I don't see anything else here. I don't know what sobriety disabled. What does that mean? What does that mean? Are you making a joke that you're trying to say you're not sober? Are you trying to say that you indulge in getting high or drunk? Is that what that means? Or are you saying that what does that mean? Look, I'm not interested in making you look bad. I'm not even going to mention your name. But saying sobriety disabled, I don't know what that means. If you're making a joke about it, it means, if I'm interpreting you correctly, which is I'm prepared for you to write in there, no, I'm sober 30 years. If you write sobriety disabled here as though that's a joke, it means that you want to go beyond it, or you wouldn't make a joke out of it. I know you're trying to justify it to yourself, but there's ways out of that. No, you're saying sobriety is important. Okay. Well, I'm going to assume then that you're saying you are sober. So anyway, listen, I have to acknowledge something if I don't understand it or if I think there's something I can do to help. Great, I'm happy to hear that. Then I will now rewind and take everything I was about to say and I won't say it. Most people, if not all people here, qualify for some 12-step group, and the 3 things that I recommend people do, I'm going to shut up here in a second. 3 things I recommend people do for free on my channel is go do the exercises, the energy practices, which you can find on the Qigong folder. Do the which includes Awakening the Immortals, probably the most powerful energy practice you can get, paid or otherwise. The second thing that I recommend you do is do the free guided interdimensional meditations. And the third thing, which is also very important, is to do the 12 steps to 5D on my channel. Do all that stuff and make that happen. You said disabled, you are disabled. Okay, so you're saying you're sober and you're also disabled. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. But I encourage everybody, I don't know what your disability is, but I encourage everybody to give yourself the possibility to heal from anything. There's some meditation teachings going on. Dr. Joe Dispenza is one person. I mean, there are people healing themselves of lifelong blindness simply by doing the kind of stuff we're talking about. So I acknowledge and appreciate where everybody is, no matter who you are. And I give you the freedom, if you choose to decide to see if you can heal from anything. That's the world where we're headed to. And I want to give myself that opportunity as well. Having said that, I'm not in anybody's shoes, so I can't talk about it. I can't talk about what I haven't been through. All right. I'm really babbling now, so I'm going to shut up. That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I love you all. Please take very good care of yourselves. And if I do not see you, if I don't get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise, or if the solar flash doesn't come, I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys all next time. Please take care of yourselves. Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at ThunderWizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at ThunderWizard.com. Get ready, because here I come.